Welcome back to the channel, and for this discussion, we're me talking about Cam Newton, which you saw yesterday. Big reports that came out of his video, his pro workout video, which was, of course, yesterday he had his pro day alongside with Auburn. But if you have not seen, I'll post the clip on screen right now.
Tell me how these randoms keep getting jobs. Don't worry about it. I'ma say it. I can't wait to say it. I love it. I love it.
I'm seeing a lot of people trolling the idea, and it's official. I will be throwing at Auburn's Pro Day Tuesday.
118! 180!
32 months better than me, you did.
Yeah, it's very concerning to admit that or throw out there and say that there's not 32 other quarterbacks better than you in the NFL right now is a lie, Cam. I'm sorry. It's delusional. I understand you still believe in your mind that you are you are still that 2015 Cam Newton. And I'm sure, deep down, in your mind, you believe that, but physically, you're old. I mean, you're 33 years old. Again, not that old for a starting quarterback. You should be playing. You should still be playing. But the big problem is, well, two biggest factors are. I think the biggest thing, no doubt, is your body just deteriorating because of the hits, because of all the wear and tear, and also your personality. That's the biggest question throughout your going from college to now is questions of maturity, alongside with your body, your playing ability going down. The last few years, people aren't going to tolerate the personality part of it if you're not playing up to standard. So switching over to his stats really quickly, overall, Cam, I'm sorry, especially if you look at the last few years, you haven't been that great, especially at throwing the football. You are not an accurate thrower compared to most of the other 32 quarterbacks. Again, you could probably argue some spots like the Jets. You could probably say the Jets with Zach Wilson. I know we're still waiting on the Aaron Rodgers deal, but for now, Zach Wilson is still officially the starter, if you want to argue that. But again, Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. Commanders with Sam Howell. Again, they want to see if he is the guy. Took him in the, I think, 5th round, I believe. But what was it? Worst case scenario? They're a horrible team, and they're in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, which is probably what a lot of teams are going to be looking forward. Tennessee, if you want to argue for Tannehill or Malik Willis, I'm sure people probably say Tannehill is slightly better right now. But again, they've already had their future if you want to see Malik Willis, or maybe they can go into a different direction. They can be a dark horse team, a wild card team to get Lamar Jackson. And I'm pretty sure people would say Lamar Jackson is better than Cam Newton right now. But the biggest thing is again, the other half of it is also your personality. You are a big personality. That's why teams are scared of picking you up. You look at for New England. New England was a spot where he could have been a backup, but they let him go because they didn't want him to challenge Mac Jones. You had your chance for you to go back to New England as your only time as a starter there and your only season there. You went 7-8. You threw for 2,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's not starting caliber material. Now you did add 10 touchdowns or 12 rushing touchdowns. To his credit, he was very utilized in that ability, like he was early on in his career. But again, 8 passing touchdowns in 15 games. That's not elite quarterback. That's not starting quarterback material. There's 32 quarterbacks that I could trust to get more passing touchdowns. I can trust Zach Wilson or Sam Howell or whoever you want to throw out there that, they're probably going to get more than 8 touchdowns. For other teams that don't have a starting quarterback right now are going to get one in the draft. the Panthers, there's a reason why they trade up first overall. They're not trading down. They didn't give up all those picks and DJ Moore just to trade down and get assets back. They're taking either CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Same thing with the Texans. They're going to get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, whoever falls to them. So, Cam, there isn't a lot of spots for you to be, there's really no spot for you to be a starter. And then just quickly going back to your passing ability is very subpar, is below average. You look at it, for the most part, you are in the mid to high 50s, which is not starting caliber material. People even worry about that in drafts for quarterback prospects. The biggest one is Anthony Richardson. He's a similar style to you, but once again, what is the concern? His accuracy. Overall, he had a 54% completion percentage as career, even though this was his only time starting. He played a little bit the 2 previous years, but overall, 54 completion percentage. That's not good enough. Same thing for you, Cam. You look at 57, we'll start from the beginning, 60, 57, 61, 58, 59, 52 in 2016, 59. Your best year was 67, but looking at it, you didn't throw a lot. 56, 65, I got that confused. Sorry, New England didn't throw a lot. I give them credit to Carolina in 2018, 67%. But for New England, didn't throw a lot, but give them credit again, 65%, or just under 66%. And your final year, 54%. Overall, Cam, you were not considered an accurate thrower, but you did have the physical set to be a great one, as you saw in 2015. Where gotta give it credit to him. He did earn his MVP. He was the best quarterback in the league that year. That was the version that we were expecting from you, Cam. The Auburn Cam Newton that just carried the program on his back and beat Oregon to win the national championship. That's the Cam Newton that we were expecting. And we really just got that for 1 year. Another thing too, you've only thrown for over 4,000 yards once. That was your rookie year 11 years ago, going on 12 now. Think about that. Your only year throwing for 4,000 passing yards was your rookie year. And you've come close a couple times. 2012 was one. Your MVP year, 2015. And that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to throw me 2016, I know you were more utilized for your running ability, and I know a lot of times you didn't have maybe the talent around you like quarterbacks have right now, and you paid for it. You put your body on the line. You were very used heavily in your running ability, and now it's catching up to you. You're slowing down. I think for him, he was ahead of his time in the NFL. At the time. There wasn't a quarterback like him to have that size, the strength, the running ability like he did for Auburn. Again, he was a force. He carried that program to a national championship, and it's very impressive. But concerns was accuracy, and the other part was your personality. Your if you were mature enough, and even to this day, at your age, at 33, people still question your maturity with the video you just posted. Again, it's not a good look. Are there 32 quarterbacks better than you? You could argue a couple aren't. So if you want to say worst case scenario, maybe 29, 30 quarterbacks are better than you. So you don't post that. And again, people question your ability to play. Do I still think you can play? Yes, as a backup. But are you willing to take a step back, put your ego aside, and be a backup? Or in your mind, are you still going to be delusional and thinking that you are still a caliber quarterback? And I don't want to say it to a point. I want to knock on him because it's, you could say it's so confidence. You have to have that confidence at that level. But at some point, you have to take a step back and reflect that you are not the guy that you once were. If you believe, or if there's people out there that still believe Cam Newton is the 2015 Newton, where if you give him a full season, he can take you places. That's not happening anymore. I'm sorry. And for teams like Carolina and Houston, I'd much rather take a chance on CJ Stroud or Bryce Young than go with a aging Cam Newton. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just that's the reality, Cam. I'm sorry, and it's not hating on you. I would love to see you again back in the NFL. Again, I think you were ahead of your time for your ability, as you see now with Josh Allen. That's probably the closest comparison that we have of you for your physical style is Josh Allen, but a better thrower, and you see how he is. And there's some concerns too for us, for our Bills, for being Bills fans, of his, him running a lot. You don't want that to turn into a Cam Newton again, but you see for Josh Allen, coming out, he was kind of compared to Cam Newton, and you see how much he's thrived. And there's no doubt, if you came out right now the way the offensive game is played, how the NFL is, you would probably thrive too, and you would probably be, if your career started now, you would probably have a much better career now than you did coming out in 2011. But again, I feel like you were ahead of your time. I don't think teams really do how to put pieces around you. Again, to your credit, I don't think at times you did have great pieces, but at some point it is what it is. And again, he did carry them to a Super Bowl. He did win an MVP, but that's only 1 year. We only saw that apex, that Auburn Cam Newton for 1 year, and ever since then it's gone downhill. Your last great season, if you want to say, was 2017, when the last time you played a full season, the last time you made the playoffs. I just think I think for him it's just delusional. I think it's immature to put the video out there. I get it. If you are frustrated, deep down, I don't knock you for believing that you are better than some quarterbacks. I'm not knocking you for your confidence for that, but to say 32 quarterbacks, there's not 32 quarterbacks better than you. Yes, there is. If you want to start with the elite ones, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Lawrence, and it's Hurts and so forth. Yes, they are better than you. And I know there's some that I didn't name. That's not saying all of those are the only elite quarterbacks, but there's still plenty more that for right now are playing at a much better level than you, that are more accurate throwing the football. So again, it's disappointing to see the video. I think deep down, again, I want to see Cam Newton get another opportunity to be in the NFL, but for him, he's gonna have to face the reality that he's not a starter anymore. I'm sorry, he isn't. In spurts, can you play well? Can you give me a game or two where you can give me that vintage Cam Newton? I'm sure you can, but can you sustain that for a whole season? Can you carry a team like you once did? No, you can't. So I want to switch over to CBS, that posted a list of 6 destinations that Cam Newton could potentially go. I haven't even looked at it yet. I've seen the first 2. So the other ones are going to be a little bit surprised. So it's kind of a little bit of a first reaction. So starting at 6 is the Packers. And for most of them, I'm going to assume for most of them, it's going to be situations for younger quarterbacks. For Jordan Love, it's a great veteran backup that has experience has, of course, a ton of experience in the NFL, has seen a lot, at some points has played at the highest level. So now, no doubt, it's going to be a great teacher for him, great person that's going to help him develop help Jordan Love develop and see that if he is the franchise guy or not, because the Packers are kind of on a short leash to figure out if Jordan Love is their next franchise guy, or they have to figure out going somewhere else. But again, Cam, are you going to force yourself or put tension in the locker room to push the coaches or whoever to be the starter if Jordan Love maybe has a slow start or has a game where he plays bad? Are you going to make a scene about it? And there's no doubt the media is going to be waiting for you to do that, whether it's true or not. It's great news stories like I'm talking about, and what shows did yesterday talking about you. People are just going to wait for you to take over that, and that your big personality. But I think for the Packers, it is a good spot for him to help Jordan Love. But again, for all of these, really, you shouldn't have any expectation of being the starter unless something horrible happens, which hope nothing does. But going to this, there's no question that you're going to be a starter. You're going to be a backup. So number 5, Lions. Again, I guess a solid backup. I do think if Cam decided to be a backup, he'd be one of the better options out there, just because of his resume. Again, if you can give me a few games of flashes of the vintage Cam Newton, absolutely. For Lions, I don't know if I necessarily like it because you have Jared Goff. There's still rumors about maybe Lamar Jackson going there. So again, I don't know if I love the spot. Number 4 is showing number 3 is the Ravens, but number 4 Chiefs. Great spot overall because of just the talent overall there. Though you don't have a Tyreek Hill anymore, you still have Travis Kelce, you still have great pieces around you. You have an amazing offensive-minded coach in Andy Reid. So if he had to step in and maybe play a game or two, no question, this is the best situation for you to succeed. But it's definitely the team that I just said that if you're going here, there should be zero expectations. You are not beating Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, Mahomes has done more in his 5-6 years than you've done your entire career. You have MVP. He has 2 MVPs. He has 2 Super Bowls. He's gone to 3. You have none. You have 1 appearance, and that's it. So if he's delusional thinking that he can compete with Patrick Mahomes, I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. But I think for a situation, this is probably the best one. Of course, if he had to step in for a game or two, if something did happen to Mahomes, this is a great spot. Finally, this no doubt be the best core around him for especially with having a great tight end like he did with Olsen, having Travis Kelce there. Again, I think that's an amazing spot for him to land. Number 3, Baltimore. This could be an interesting one if Lamar Jackson does leave, because then this might open the possibility of, hey, Cam Newton can be a starter here. But for right now, there's more reports. I might do another video about Lamar Jackson, about what's going on there. It seems like that he's done with Baltimore. He just wants to get out of there. So again, this could be an interesting spot where if he came in and Lamar Jackson's traded, yeah, this could be a spot where Cam Newton might start. Problem is too, again, that not many great pieces for to throw to outside of Mark Andrews. You'd probably be used again, like in New England and Carolina, where you're gonna run a lot. Are you gonna thrive here? I think again, for a starter anywhere, for a team anywhere, I think he's gonna struggle. He's gonna be the New England Cam Newton, the last year for Carolina for the 5 games Cam Newton. So again, he might get his starting ability, his starting chance here if Lamar leaves. But is it gonna work out? I don't think so. But if Lamar Jackson is staying, again, there's no shot that you're gonna be there's no shot you're gonna be the starter. You're not gonna beat up Lamar. The other thing too that's gonna be going for you is the last 2 years Lamar has been banged up the last 2 years, missing 6+ games. So that could be a great spot for you to have a chance to start, because then you can come in for how long Lamar could be out for, and prove yourself. Number 2, Tennessee. Again, I quickly talked about this for Tannehill and Malik Willis. I don't think it's an amazing spot because they have Derrick Henry here, but there's a good chance Derrick Henry might get moved to try and get the highest value as possible. Ryan Tannehill, again, if you want to go back and forth with Ryan Tannehill and Cam Newton, I think for right now Tannehill is slightly better just because he's not as beat up. He's a more accurate quarterback. And they also have Malik Willis, who they are probably going to go to if they don't keep Ryan Tannehill. They want to give Malik Willis a chance. And I think it's not going to be fair for Willis if he has someone like Cam Newton. Again, if Cam Newton can't accept being a backup, it's definitely not going to be a great situation. It's going to be probably another New England problem where they're just going to have to let him go if his personality is going to be too big. And finally, number 1, the Raiders. I don't understand this. You just signed Jimmy Garoppolo again. I got to say, for Lamar Jackson, there is a possibility of injury. But once again, why keep repeating? I know it sounds like a broken record, but I'm sorry, Cam, for these 6 spots, there's no chance you're gonna compete and be the starter. The only chance of you being the starter is if one of these guys gets hurt, which is the best case scenario for starting is Baltimore or maybe the Raiders, even though I said the Chiefs are the best place overall just because of the structure. Yeah, you have the Raiders because of Garoppolo with his injury history. And that could be one. I wouldn't say the Raiders are number one in that spot. But again, they just pay big money to Garoppolo. I don't see it. I get it. If he does get hurt, you have one of the best. You'll have no doubt the best receiver in your career with Devontae Adams, along with Josh Jacobs, and whoever I'll say put around him for the remainder of the offseason. They just lost Darren Waller, so. God, it could be, is it a horrible spot? No, but I don't think it's number one. I guess if you want to argue for best case scenario for him to potentially be the starter, it'd probably just be Baltimore, or I'd probably say Kansas City is up there just because of structure. So it's going to wrap up the discussion. Again, it's sad seeing how far Cam Newton has fell going back doesn't seem like that long ago, but it is. 2015, to me, doesn't seem that long ago, but it's 8 years ago, and a lot's changed. The NFL has changed a lot since 2015 to now. The way it's played, how it's viewed for game plans and so forth, and it's just, again, it's lots changed, and it's unfortunate that ever since that Super Bowl loss, that he's never been able to recapture that Cam Newton, that Auburn Cam Newton, because it is fun. If you could have beaten, he was supposed to be, I guess you want to say, like the Josh Allen before Josh Allen. I guess it's the closest comparison to him for a current player right now. And I think he was, what I said before, I think he was ahead of his time for his game style, or his play style. In 2011, I don't think Carolina was necessarily the best place for him to go, because it didn't seem like Ron Rivera really helped build the offense around him, give him protection, give him weapons around him. He did have Greg Olsen and a few other nice pieces, but I don't think it was enough to help Cam Newton. I think if he went to and obviously he didn't have a choice. He was the number one quarterback in that year, and Carolina had the number one overall pick. So it was, it was basically he had no choice, but. It's unfortunate that he was kind of running the grounds, how they used him. Again, it was amazing to watch him. The first few seasons, if you want to say from 2011 to 2015, it was definitely fun. It was a different play style, different type of quarterback. His personality definitely was different, but it is also, again, a downside that has really cost him, especially I think his career now, just because of his physical ability being gone. If his ability was still there, there's no question he'd be a starter still. But same thing like Antonio Brown, people will tolerate you until they can replace you. The reason why Steelers and so many other teams tolerated you is because you still play at a high level. But for him, it got to a point where it just got too much. And even to a certain degree that, the last year or two that he was starting to slow down. He wasn't the AB he was like prime in the Steelers. He was still really good, but it got to a point where his attitude, and of course, all off the field and on the field problems caught up to him. And it's the same thing for Cam Newton. Just the immaturity and all the other things caught up to him because he didn't have the elite ability anymore. And again, it's unfortunate. It was fun to watch him, and I hope that he can come back and play. For whoever, I don't care if he even is a backup. I would love to see him back out there again, see him back on NFL field and play. But again, he's too delusional. If he in his mind, well, I don't say if he does believe he is the elite quarterback still, I'm sure. And I just think for him, if he really cares about his career in the NFL, he's gonna have to take a step back, and he's gonna have to change a lot of things. I know one is Baker Mayfield. I know early on he was very cocky and all that, and his production wasn't there. And as of recently, he's changed a lot. Of course, even to this day, he says some controversial stuff and so forth, but he's kind of toned it down. And I think for Cam, if he truly wants to get back in the NFL, he's gonna have to do the same. He's gonna have to change his mindset and accept that, hey, I'm not gonna force my way to be a starter. I will do what I'll do whatever the team asks me to do to be the backup and help whoever the starter is. And if my name gets called upon, I'm gonna play the best I can. That's the mindset he should have, not making this video and saying, oh, there's a bunch of randoms that are still in the NFL that have jobs, because part of that too, you're taking a shot at the guys that you're asking for a job for. Yeah, you're taking a shot at the GMs for making these horrible decisions, for taking all these random quarterbacks, but at the same time you're begging them for them to hire you. And why should they if you're doing that? You're kind of just calling them like an idiot for picking these guys, but now they're not an idiot for taking you. So again, it's unfortunate. I hope he can turn around. I'd love to see him get another opportunity in the NFL once again, but if he keeps going down this path of trying to be a starter, he's gonna get pushed out. He's gonna get shunned, and it's gonna be sad. But that's my thoughts on the whole Cam Newton situation. Let me know your thoughts down below on the video and so forth. If you do think he's gonna get another shot in the NFL, and if he does, what team he can go to. Besides that, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.